Oh, there he is. Oh my... Nah, come on! Come on!
The hell?
Oh! 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 Oh, yeah. So it is that time again to platinum another PlayStation Plus game, being Robocop Rogue City. Now this game was free last month in April, and for those who aren't new to this channel, you'll know that I recently had a break for Easter and also my birthday as well, as they both happened in the same week. So that is why I'm late to making this video. However, this has been a game that I have heard good things about, and despite it being a short game and platinum, I had heard this game was still really enjoyable for that time, which made me excited and also curious to get the platinum. And seeming as this game was free for PlayStation Plus last month, I decided now was the perfect time to get the platinum trophy on Robocop Rogue City to see if it is worth it. So throughout this video, I'll be ranking these three categories through 1 to 10, with 1 not being enjoyable at all, and then 10 being extremely enjoyable and just all round perfect for that category. And I will also be ranking difficulty through 1 to 10 as well, with 1 not being a hard platinum at all, and then 10 being extremely difficult, and essentially a platinum that was close to impossible. And I will also be comparing the difficulty to what the guide gives it and explaining whether I agree or disagree with that number from my experience. And by the end of this video, after I've got the platinum and also ranked all 4 categories, I will decide whether this game's platinum is worth it or not, in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the first step when going for this platinum was to just play through the story as normal. And when going into this game, I didn't know much about Robocop at all, as I've just never really known about the character before playing this game, and I've never seen the movies before as well. So because of that, I didn't know much about this character at all. So I apologise to the die-hard Robocop fans out there. But regardless, the game starts off with this cutscene where this guy called Sue is with his gang, and they hijack the Channel News building. And during this cutscene, he is carrying this stuff called Nuke, which is a drug that either kills people if you have too much of it, or it just knocks you out. And to be completely honest, I'm not sure which one it does, but during this cutscene, Sue injected some nuke into this police officer, and I honestly don't know if it killed him or not. But with this guy and his cronies hijacking the building, it was then Robocop's job to stop them, as they also had hostages in the building as well. So this is when I was introduced to Robocop for the first time in this game. Oh, there he is. I will say one thing, the only thing I know about Robocop is I'm not sure if he's a robot or not, because when I played Mortal Kombat 1, when he was DLC for that game, when you would do the X-rays, obviously for humans, it was like red blood and like obviously... yeah, just red. Whereas like with Robocop, I think it was blue, so I don't think he's human. Or like he's half human, half robot. I'm not 100% too sure. But that's kind of like all I know kind of when it comes to Robocop, that I don't think he's fully human. So once walking over to the Channel 9 building, we would also see our partner called Anne Lewis, and together we would head into the building. And we started on the very first floor of the building, where there were some enemies we had to take out to make our way to the top floor. And this is where I had my first combat section in the game. Oh, okay, right. Alright, we're in combat. Okay, what do I do? Just shoot? Oh, headshot. Okay, this combat, like this shooting, it's definitely got like a bit of a retro vibe. I don't mind that, you know. I actually don't mind that at all. Okay, you can aim.
My hands are shaking.
Oh, here we go. We got like a slow motion bit. Alright, anyone else? Yep, you. That was beautiful. I actually really liked that. That was so cool. But after breaching my first room, I continued through the mission for another couple minutes before getting my first trophy in the game. Oh, hello. Oh, and I got my first trophy. Zip this up. What's that for? Shoot an enemy in a sensitive spot. I assume that's the private area. Oh, that is so funny. What a first trophy to get. Oh, I didn't even think. I just shot because there was an enemy there. I'm seriously like, what a way to go. If you like actually died by getting shot in the nuts, like that is a horrible way to go. You're probably in agony before you die. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. It's making my balls tingle, and not in a good way.
What did he say?
Can I please throw? Yes. I want to actually like hit somebody with it. Yes, let's go. Oh, and there's a trophy for it as well. Strike out. Eliminate an enemy using a throwable object. Oh, I love that. I love that. That is so cool. And after getting my second trophy, I just continued through the mission, making my way to the top of the building, before all of a sudden an explosion happened underneath us, and that then resulted to Robocop glitching out and having flashbacks of his life as a human and being Alex Murphy. And on a side note, this actually continues to happen quite a few times on almost every single story mission, which I found cool as we got to learn a little bit about the human Alex Murphy. But after glitching out, we reached the top floor and took out everyone in the room to save the hostages. However, there was still one more enemy holding a person hostage, and we had to save them. However, Robocop continued to glitch out during this intense moment.
You got 3 seconds!
Oh no, he's gonna shoot her.
Our family is the only thing I need to be happy.
2!
He's
Are
gonna
you
shoot
fucking
her.
deaf?
Promise me, it will stay like this forever.
1! Last chance, weirdo!
Oh no!
I love you so
Mate, move! What are you doing? Oh! Oh god! Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm getting... Let's go. I'm getting into this game. That was a very fun first mission to do. And the gameplay is so much better than what I thought as well. Like, the gameplay is actually really fun. Oh, but there's a trophy. The night has just begun even. So yeah, complete breaking news quest. What an intro / first mission to do on this game. I am like really looking forward to continuing this game because of that now. So after completing that first mission in this game, I was then at the police precinct where I got my first couple skill points, completed a couple side missions, and also went to the shooting range where I tried to get the highest score to get 3 different trophies. But as I wasn't good enough to do this now, I just left it and would worry about it later. But pretty soon after that, I went to the streets of Detroit where I completed my next mission. But after completing that mission, I then got a miscellaneous trophy to issue a ticket to some naughty people breaking the law. But after getting that trophy, we found out that Suit was holding some kind of music concert at this building. So for the next mission, we tracked him down, and once finding him, we carried him back outside to find that Anne Lewis had a gun pointed at her by the actual main villain in this game, called Wendell Anatowski? Jesus Christ, I do not know how to say that name. Anyway, this guy has absolutely no remorse and is an absolute nutcase after what he does here.
Here's a free lesson. You never, ever fight with the money.
Oh no! Oh Lord! Well, he's dead. But unfortunately, he didn't stop there as he proceeded to do this a minute or so after. He's gonna shoot her.
You scumbag!
Oh my... No! Oh my gosh. This guy's a menace.
Another glitch.
Well,
What
there's a
shit
trophy.
show.
Dead or
Everything's
alive.
ready.
Complete Suit's
Switching back
final
on
in-core quest. Oh my gosh, I can't believe... Not only did that Suit
Lewis!
die, but then that flipping maniac and menace just killed flipping Lewis as well. But luckily, during this cutscene, I would quickly find out that Lewis wasn't dead and was just in hospital getting treatment, which was a relief. However, for a good chunk of the rest of this game, she would remain in hospital. But to be completely honest, I was just happy in that moment that she wasn't dead. But right after finding out that information, I got another trophy to equip an Auto 9's PCB with any chip, which when doing this, I didn't really understand how this worked for the whole game, which is why I never used it after this. But after getting that trophy, we got introduced to this kid called Ulysses Washington. Honestly, these names on this game are an absolute nightmare to say, I will not lie. Anyway, I'm just going to call him Washington. Anyway, this kid was applying to be a police officer, as his father was a police officer. And even though in my opinion, this guy applied to be a police officer at the complete wrong time, he ended up getting the job and is able to hold his own throughout the story, and he ends up being one of my favourite characters in this game. But after this cutscene with Washington and Max Becker, I did my next mission where I had to find this officer called Officer Briggs, who went to this gang's hideout alone and hasn't come back since. So I showed up to the area where the gang was to find the officer, and during this mission, I got another 2 miscellaneous trophies right here, which were both very satisfying trophies to get. Before we found this tape of Briggs being tortured by this guy called Spike and Wendell as well. So we made our way over to the room he was being held in to see once we got there, Briggs was dead. And as annoying as this is, I accidentally had my mic off without realising during this whole mission, which was annoying. But once finding Briggs dead in this freezer, I was retching at the scene and was just shocked at what I was looking at. Honestly, it's a damn shame that my mic wasn't on for that part. But after continuing through the mission, there was this robot called ED-209 that was made for the police to protect the city. However, once capturing Spike, the machine malfunctioned and brutally shot this police officer in cold blood, which grabbed our attention, which allowed Spike to escape. So because of this, we had to take out this robot, which led to my first boss fight in this game. And just like that, we're in a boss fight against ED. I knew this machine was dodgy. Alright.
Be right back.
Why do I feel like this is actually going to be like a difficult fight? I can just see it being a difficult fight. Alright, let's grab this.
Okay, listen to this.
That did nothing. That did nothing. I missed him. Again, why did that go through him? This is not going well. I need to find another explosion.
Have 15 seconds to comply.
Have that, mate. Have that. Have that, mate. One more. Have that, mate. Oh, we got another one here. Perfect. Don't mind if I do. Just die, man. Die. Okay. Come on, man. Alright, he is on half health. Or he or it. It is on half health, so that is good. But it doesn't change the fact that this is still putting up a flipping fight. It is putting up a good fight. And I feel like I could die. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. Alright, actually this is working. Although it doesn't look like it's taken off any health. I mean, it's doing very small damage. But, like, it's so small. But at least I'm safe. I'm actually quite safe here. And I have got infinite pistol ammo. So I could just stay behind here and just finish it off. Nah, come on! Come on! No, it's got no health. Come on, last bullet, last bullet. There we go. Oh my gosh. But there's my trophy, 20 seconds to comply. So that is to complete Street Vulture's Turf Quest. So after beating that boss fight, I had enough skill points to get the remaining slots for the skill deduction. And I saw early on that apparently it was best to fully upgrade this skill first, as once you fully upgrade it, it massively helps you towards a few trophies in the game. So once getting the last few slots for deduction, I got another trophy to fully upgrade any skill. But after getting that trophy, I just continued through the story and got another 2 trophies along the way, before being on the mission where I was going for Wendell to arrest him. However, he had a bunch of goons protecting him, which meant I had to take them out to get to Wendell. But as I was going through this mission, a group of enemies ran us over to where Robocop started to glitch again, and we would see more memories of his life before being part machine. But once the glitches began to stop, we were able to arrest Wendell, which gave me my next trophy. And I also got another trophy called Officer of the Month, where I had to score an A rank on any evaluation / mission, which was a trophy I was trying to get for quite a few missions at this point. But going into the next mission, we go into this room where Max Becker is, and he has been making a bunch of robots to replace Robocop because of the amount of times he glitches during missions. And Max, being the absolute that he is, decided to test these robots on us, so I had to defeat 4 waves of these robots without dying, and this was by far the hardest encounter on this game so far. But regardless of the challenge, I was still able to do it. But just when I thought this game couldn't get any more challenging, I go into the next mission where Wendell has broken out of his cell, and all his guards cause a riot in the prison, and I have to fight a bunch of enemies to get to Wendell before he escapes the entire prison. But during this process, I ran into a group of enemies, with one of them being heavily armoured, and this section was very challenging, I can't lie. Have that. Is he spawning in more of them? I think he is, you know. I think he's just spawned in more of them. I'm gonna die. Like, how are you not dead? Oh my... Okay, I don't know what to do. I do not know what to do. They're heavily armoured and I'm just continuously shooting them. It won't work. And then what makes it even worse is more people are spawning in. I'm going to die again because I just can't see. Oh, I might just let them kill me, you know. Yeah, just kill me. Seriously, I don't know what's going on. I can't see. Like, how am I supposed to fight when I can't see? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I was here for about 8 minutes or so, and I didn't know what to do because enemies just kept spawning in. But I soon realised that I could escape through the door, and once doing that, I was able to heal and escape from that encounter. But once going through the rest of the mission, I ran into Wendell, who once again used this lighter of his to make us malfunction, and he also sent out a few men to kill Anne Lewis, who was still in hospital after what happened earlier in the game. So once Wendell escaped, I was able to get another trophy, and then right after that, I went to the hospital to save Anne Lewis, but found out she didn't need saving at all and could definitely handle herself. But after seeing Lewis deal with that thug, I just continued through the story, getting another 3 trophies along the way, before getting to what I thought was the final mission at the time, where I was about to capture Wendell again. However, it wasn't easy to get to him as I had to fight a bunch of enemies and robots to get to him. But once eventually getting to him, I think it was safe to say that Robo didn't hold back.
No matter what. So, Robocop, prepare to meet your demise.
Oh, he shot his arm off! Oh, I knew that was going to happen.
Now there is trouble.
As soon as he lifted his arm, I was like, yep, Robocop's going to shoot it off.
A few moments later.
How can Robocop not, like here where he is? It doesn't make any sense.
Locking you up is putting myself first.
Oh, that would be a mistake.
Yep, here we go.
Then why don't you die like one?
Oh, yeah. Shot in cold blood. Wow. And he's dead. That has to be the end of the game then. Okay, so yeah, there's one trophy. Not arresting you anymore. Complete no way out quest.
What about the city?
And yeah, is that the end of the game? I feel like it could be, but I'm not 100% sure. I guess I'll find out in a minute. So yeah, it turns out that I had one more mission to do before I would finish the story. And I didn't expect this because I was positive that the final mission was the one I just did. But regardless, I had one more mission to do where I had another boss fight against this machine which was being controlled in some way by the old man, which by the way is literally his name in the game. I'm not just calling him that to be a twat or anything, like his name is literally the old man. But anyway, earlier in the story the old man died and was visibly scared to die, and I guess found a way to be alive as this machine. I honestly, I don't really know, to be honest. This was all too confusing for me. But this boss fight had 3 stages to it, and surprisingly the first stage was the hardest, as there was little to nothing you could throw at it or guns you could pick up. But on the last 2 stages there was way more guns to pick up and use. But when being this boss fight, I had a decision to make whether to leave the machine in the fallen building we were in, save them, or kill them. And me being the heroic individual that I am, I decided to save them. But little did I know that this was pretty much a waste of time, as once saving them, they ended up just dying anyway. But the good news from all this is that Robocop made it out of the building in time and I got my trophy to finish the story. And with the story now done, it was now time to give my thoughts and opinions on the story and rank it through 1 to 10. So that is the story now completed, and overall I really did enjoy this story. Like, even though I heard good things about this game and like how it's been considered like quite underrated, especially for how short the story is and everything, I was still so pleasantly surprised with how fun this game actually was. I probably played like maybe 3 hours worth, maybe 3.5 hours worth of side content, like /side missions, and doing the story. So I'd say that this story is probably around 6.5 to 7 hours in length, depending on like what difficulty you play on. I feel like it did not feel as short to me as I thought it would. Like, it didn't feel like a short story at all. It felt like I was playing for quite a while, but in a good way. Like, I was enjoying every second of it. I never found myself like bored either, because there was a couple of moments where I genuinely thought I would get bored because it was a first-person shooter. And even though I like first-person shooter games, I am like one of those people that prefer like third-person games, like, you know, action adventure games. Like, I'd probably pick about 5 or 6 more types of games over first-person shooters, but I still like first-person shooters nonetheless. But I still thought I would find myself a little bit bored at some points. But this game was, like, from beginning to end, just so enjoyable, and it just did not get boring at all. There was a couple of moments where I was a tad confused during the story, but it didn't stop my, like, overall enjoyment for it, if that makes any sense. Like, it was a fun story regardless. Like, the first mission was like probably one of my favorite missions because of how fun it actually was, but from the first mission to the last one, like, it was a lot of fun. And even the boss fights, I didn't actually expect there to be boss fights in this game, but the boss fights that I had to do were a bit challenging, but like, they were still fun regardless. So yeah, I really enjoyed this story. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, in terms of a rating, I would probably give this like a 6.5 out of 10. Like, I could change my mind with that. but because I'm obviously doing this right after finishing the story, but I'd probably give this a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, I had a feeling I'd change my mind here. Yeah, I was just editing this video, and I don't know why I said the story was a 6.5 out of 10, because I actually think this deserves to be a bit higher than that. So current day Josh is going to change the rating for the story to a 7.5 out of 10, because considering the story was short overall, the fact how I never found myself bored or even disliking this story just tells me that this deserves to be higher than a 6.5. Now, if this story was a bit longer, I could maybe give it a higher rating, but considering this is a short story overall, and I was a bit confused at certain points, I can't lie, just makes me set on giving this story a 7.5 out of 10. So with the first step of this platinum now done, it is now onto the second and final step, which was to get the remaining miscellaneous trophies. Now going into this, I had 7 miscellaneous trophies to get, and when going into this, I was hopeful and pretty confident that I could get all 7 of these trophies on my load save files. However, some trophies I wasn't able to get this way and would have to start a New Game Plus playthrough, because a couple trophies I had to get required me to have a certain level of a skill acquired, which I didn't have. And the only way I'd have all my skills is by doing a New Game Plus playthrough, as it all carries over. So out of these 7 trophies that are on the screen now, I could only get these 2 from loading up past saves, which is why I started with getting these 2 trophies first. So I started by getting the trophy called Hard Boiled, which was to help these 2 officers solve a murder case. And this is a side mission in the game where we had to solve the murder of Casey Carmel. So I was just scanning the crime scene and also talking to people in the area that could be responsible. And one of the people that we spoke to was this guy called Jerry Jenkins, who had a right attitude and was very rude, which instantly gave me the impression that he was being defensive because he might know something. And my theory would end up being correct, because after talking to this wannabe Smurf, he had a camera in his garage that showed who and how Casey died. And this is what I saw. Oh my gosh. Ow. So now knowing that Jenkins did kill Casey, it was now time to arrest him. So we walked back over to the movie set that he was at and arrested him. But I just have to say one thing, the way that this guy threw himself on the floor pretty much was so funny to me.
I have a solution for you if you are looking for some protection against that California sunshine.
The hell?
Stay in Detroit prison.
He didn't even touch him and he just like fell to the floor. He literally, all Robocop did is like kind of put his hand on his shoulder and then the guy just threw himself on the floor. Oh, but serves him right. Serves him right. And there's my trophy, Hard Boiled. Help officers Kurtz and O'Neill solve a murder case. Perfect. Alright, that is 1 trophy down, just another 6 more to go before the platinum. So after getting that trophy, I quickly went for the next trophy on a load save where I had to beat this encounter with the robots in 10 minutes or less. And I was nervous about this trophy because, like I said earlier in this video, this encounter was very challenging to beat alone, so having to do it in 10 minutes or under made this seem like a possible nightmare. However, after dying 1 time, I was able to do it on my 2nd attempt, and despite dying 1 time, this trophy wasn't too bad to get, honestly. But after getting those 2 trophies, I then started New Game Plus and got the remaining 5 trophies I needed, starting with these 3 trophies to get a score of 150, 200 and 250 on the shooting range. So once beating the first mission again, I made my way down to the shooting range and got those 3 trophies with style. And then on my next main mission, I went to the arcade to get the trophy to find the secret area in the arcade. Alright, so the secret stash. I thought this whole time that this was the secret stash here and you needed level 6 engineering, but this whole time I was wrong. That is not what you needed. You literally have to scan the side of this desk here and then press the button, and there it is. No stone unturned. It was that easy. Find a secret area in the arcade. So for this specific part, I didn't need to do a new story. I mean, I needed to do a new story regardless because of the last trophy I need, but in terms of this trophy, I didn't even need to restart the story, so that's actually hilarious. But yeah, that is that trophy now done. So now all I need to do is just get that last one, which is in the steel mill, which I believe is the 2nd main mission after this. And I know exactly what to do there. So yeah, hopefully this platinum should be mine in the next half an hour or so. So after playing for another 10 minutes or so, I got to the part in this mission to find the secret PCB to get the last trophy I needed for the platinum. I think it's, is it that? Or is it, it might be this. Yeah, it might be this. Let me open this then. And then collect, and there's the trophy. Good eyes, Murphy. So that is to find a PCB for Auto 9 in a secret area of the steel mill. And then there's the platinum trophy to serve and protect. Acquire all the trophies. So that is the platinum trophy obtained, which means it is now time to rank all the categories that I mentioned at the start of the video through 1 to 10, starting with the trophies. And when it comes to the trophies, I don't really have anything negative to say about them. I mean, if I'm going to be picky, I do wish there was a few more trophies to get, as there's only 28 of them. But this game is also short, so I personally don't mind the small amount of trophies you need to get. And except for maybe 1 or 2 trophies, these trophies were extremely easy to get, and I got like 90% of them just by naturally playing through the story. So because these trophies were easy and enjoyable to get, I'd give the trophies an 8 out of 10. Now let's talk about the gameplay. So when I finished the story for this game, one of the first things I thought was how amazing the gameplay was. Because going into this game, I wasn't expecting the gameplay to be bad or anything. However, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I mean, the shoot mechanics felt so smooth, and it felt so satisfying to shoot an enemy in the head or in the arm and just see that body part fly off their body. Like, this game was surprisingly graphic, with heads coming off and arms coming off, etc. But I loved every second of it, and it definitely added to the game. I also loved some of the abilities you unlock whilst upgrading Robocop, like the ability to slow down time and dashing at people to close the distance, and also grabbing people and throwing them was also such a cool thing in this game you could do. The only negative for me on the gameplay, and this is me being picky, is I'm not the biggest fan of how slow Robocop moves, but I can also acknowledge that Robocop is part machine and him moving slow on this game is realistic. So with all of that said, I would give the gameplay an 8 out of 10. Like, I can honestly say that I was pleasantly surprised with how enjoyable and satisfying this gameplay was. And finally, let's talk about the difficulty. So the guide gave this a 3 out of 10 difficulty, and like I said on my story review, it all depends on what difficulty you decide to play on. But me playing on normal difficulty, I definitely had a handful of moments that were pretty challenging that caused me to die or be close to dying. Now, I am man enough to admit that that could be because I suck at first-person shooter games, which is probably true. However, for me personally, I'd give the difficulty a 3.5 out of 10. So yeah, in my opinion, this platinum isn't hard overall, but with some challenging encounters in the story you have to beat, I had to add an extra 0.5 to the difficulty rating. So with all of that said, the question is it worth it? And coming from someone who didn't know anything really about Robocop, or doesn't play many first-person shooter games, I still think that this game is definitely worth it. Like I said, this game and its platinum isn't too difficult overall, and the whole game is just so much fun. Now, I did get this game for free as it was a free PlayStation Plus game for April, and at the making of this video we are in May now, so this game isn't free anymore on PlayStation Plus. But on Amazon this game is £24 and on CEX it's around £18, and I think that these prices are worth paying for this game and going for the platinum. And at the making of this video, this game is currently on a sexy deal right now, as it's currently £7 on the PS Store, which is 100% worth getting. Without the sale, it is £50 on the PS Store, which in my opinion is a rip-off, and we won't talk about that. But yeah, anywhere under £25 for this game is definitely worth it in my opinion. So that is my thoughts and opinions on this game and its platinum. Let me know in the comments whether you guys agree or disagree with my thoughts and opinions on this game's platinum, and whether you guys think it's worth it or not, as I'm genuinely curious to hear your guys' opinions. But anyway, I'm going to leave the video here, so if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, as that would mean a lot. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss future videos. And take care, see you guys later.